got it up.
I have a phone. I don't know what is in this hat, but I brought it.
Well, it's here if you need it. So you can gauge whether people can hear you or not. But it's just, we have a small group tonight. Yeah. But I just want to thank everyone for coming. Thank you to the Meadows for hosting us and the amazing food and bar. Thank you, Ashley and John.
Hi, welcome.
We have Moxie Productions, who is live streaming the event tonight onto our Facebook page, and we'll also record it and put it on our Facebook so you can watch it back. And also Samantha Brown, who's taking photos tonight.
Woo-hoo! So good.
So thank you all so much for coming. Our next event is already up for registration. It's June 8th at the Longboat Key Club. It's the Midsummer Soiree. I know that's like a German name, it's a French name. It's a German-ish themed event, but it'll be fun. But yeah, we have Brandee Gaar here tonight. She's from Orlando, Central Florida Market, wedding planner, coach. I'm not going to give your bio, but just an all-around amazing speaker. I'm sure a lot of you saw her last year. She did our summit, our virtual summit, as well as our October event, and one of our Golden Nugget videos on our Instagram. So she's here, and welcome. Thank you, Brandee.
Hi guys, how's it going? Hello. Good. Can I not use the mic? Can you guys hear me? I will if I have to, but it's a small group, right? I don't really want to have to hold it.
Do you need it for the...
He has me mic'd for that, right? Okay, he's like, yes, please just keep going. So, thank you guys for having me. My name is Brandee Gaar, and I'm so excited to be here because I feel like I've been in front of this group a couple times in the last year, but always virtually. And so I actually had to do the back of my hair tonight. I'm not sure what it looks like, but I usually just curl the front because I'm on Zoom all the time. So I'm like, I don't know what it looks like back there, but hopefully it's not too bad. But I am a wedding planner out of Central Florida, like Jordan said, and my company is called Blush by Brandee Gaar. We've been in business for about 14 years, and 14 years next month, actually, which is kind of crazy. I also own 11 Events by Blush, which is our corporate event planning company, and it's about 3 years old. So when we were in our 11th year of Blush, we started that, and that's why it's called 11. And I am the host of the She Who Dares podcast. So I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard it or listened to it. Yay! So that's good to know. But it is a small business podcast. So not just weddings specifically, but my passion is teaching wedding professionals how to grow successful, sustainable, scalable businesses. So Jordan and I were actually just talking about this with Jeff earlier, is that I think a lot of wedding professionals build jobs for themselves. And I don't know about you guys, but we work a lot. And so then you're working, and you're not building something that is either at one point sellable or gives you an opportunity to not work every Saturday. Like you're working, and then like Jeff was just telling me, he just bought a business, and it's just because somebody's like, I'm exhausted and I want out. And so my passion is really teaching wedding pros how to build a business that is sustainable and will help you to not have to do weddings every Saturday, but still make a really great living. And so that's what I'm passionate about. That's what my podcast is about. That's what I teach on. And so tonight I'm talking about social media. And the first question I want to ask you guys is, who uses social media at all for their business? Like in any way, do you use Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook? Pretty much everybody, right? I think at this point, if you don't use social media, right, you have to be using it at some point. Because it's been around for a long time. That's kind of where our brides are finding us. But the second question I wanted to ask is, who has a consistent social media strategy? Which is a very different question, right? Yeah? That's great. I love it. I was interested to see if we would have a bunch of hands that go up. I think there's a big difference. And so one of the things I want you guys to know about me is that this was me just 3 years ago. I literally would it was a hot mess. My social media was such a hot mess. And so it's kind of a little strange to myself even that I teach on social media now, but I do so because I love seeing wedding professionals be able to succeed at it and not be so overwhelmed. And it really is top of funnel for our businesses. I mean, there's no denying that our clients are on Instagram, they are on Pinterest, and they are on Facebook. Period, end of conversation. No one's questioning where to find our clients. That's where they are. So we have to show up well there and put a lot of effort into it, but it's overwhelming. And so we're like, I'm getting business other ways. I'm not even going to do it, right? You just decide I'm not going to do it at all. So I would love to know from you guys, what are some of the reasons that social media is overwhelming to you?
You don't know what to say.
You don't know what to say. Yeah, that's a huge one.
All the buttons.
Yes, that's exactly what my answer would have been 3 years ago. Yeah.
The algorithm constantly changes.
The damn algorithm. Yes. This is being live streamed, right? I probably should watch my mouth. The algorithm. Yes. I hate the algorithm.
Too many different platforms.
Yes. Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, Reels, IGTV, Facebook, right? All the things. LinkedIn. It's so crazy, and you don't really know where to post, right? So I think this is kind of, for me, this is a little bit some of the things I felt when I was not doing social media, to be perfectly honest. I was wearing all the hats. I don't know if anybody else feels like that, right? But you're like, I literally am growing a team. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I have, I'm trying to network. I'm trying to get on venue lists. I'm doing all of payroll, HR, security, whatever, name all the things. Social media just keeps falling to the bottom because you don't know what to do. So we're just like, I'm not going to do it. I don't have time. It's not going to move the needle. There's a million other things that I'm doing. One of the other things too is that we outsourced it, but then they still needed my creative brain, which was like the most frustrating thing. Has anybody in here outsourced their social media? How's it gone for you?
Not very well. I just
Terrible.
Instagram. I didn't do posts since February.
They post things that don't really represent me.
Right? And you're like, what is that? And you pay for it every single month. We were paying hundreds of dollars every single month to have our social media done. And my social media person will call me and say, so I need to know what you want me to post about. And I'm like, but that's why I hired you. or okay, so we have 3 blogs to go up, but I need all of the pictures for it. And I'm like, again, I don't have time to go search for pictures. That's your job. And so to me, I was like, this is a waste. So we stopped doing it. This one is good. So we had one of my team do it. Does anybody in here have a team that handles their social media? Like anyone, an intern, of somebody on your team? And so have you ever felt like, okay, one of my planners does it, she's amazing, and then busy season comes. And you're like, how long has it been since you've posted? And you can't even say anything, right? Because you're like, I know you have 17 weddings this weekend, but I need you to make an Instagram post. And they're like, what? So it's so overwhelming. So that would happen to us all the time. It would be amazing until busy season hit, and then I couldn't even say anything. I couldn't get mad at them. And so then we had no social media again. And then for me, you guys were talking about the algorithm. If it wasn't right, I was just like, I don't even want to do it. Like if it's not gonna move the needle, I don't even want to do it. This is such a waste of time. I'm doing other things so much better. So I gave up. 6 years ago, we took the blog completely off of our website. Took it off. I was like, I am a successful wedding planner in Orlando. I got business. We were on tons of venue lists. We did networking. We had business coming in. We felt like there's no reason. The problem, it was almost like worse. We had a blog that we wouldn't post on for 6 months. So a bride would go to our website, be referred to us, somebody tell her we're awesome, and she'd be like, well, they haven't even blogged in 6 months. Like, that's terrible, And you're like, So I just took it off. I was like, we're not gonna have a blog. And we had this WordPress site that was built for SEO. And I was just like, I don't care, I'm taking it off. Everyone told me it was a bad idea. I didn't listen. We made it part of our intern's role. This was terrible. Don't do this. Don't do this. We have an intern every semester, and we're right next to the Rosen School. We have great interns. But our interns would write something like, they'd post a beautiful picture, and it would just say, timeless emoji. And I'm like, what is that? What do you want people to do from that? And they're like, but it's such a beautiful picture. Right, but what is it making people do? And they're like, I don't know, what do you want me to make people do? So again, it was like, this is not a good fit. And then I just didn't use Pinterest at all. Like Pinterest, who uses Pinterest? Anybody in here? Okay, yeah, I do too now, but it took a long time. I didn't use Pinterest at all. Okay, so how did I get here? Like now, you guys are like, man, you're a train wreck. Why, what on earth are you teaching us about social media? Okay, so here's the thing. At the end of the day, where I was 3 years ago with my business is we were successful. We had a big team. We were growing. We had leads coming in. We were on a ton of venue lists. Great place to be in. However, I didn't want to do weddings anymore. That was my goal. I wanted to get out of weddings. I have 3 small girls, And I wanted to build a business that could run without me. And to do that, we had to start diversifying our lead streams, because at any one point, if you have a venue that's referring you and they're referring you a ton of business, what happens if they decide, I'm going to go with somebody else, or they get bought out, or who even knows, right? They're going to start referring somebody else. Or just you want to grow. So there's only so much business that can come from your networking. You've got to have different streams of revenue, right? So to me, I was like, okay, I started listening to all the people telling me why I needed to be better about social media. Here's a couple of reasons that it hit me. One, 75% of couples research their vendors on social media. That's actually 80% now. Wedding Wire just came out with their newest report for 2021. It's 80%. 80% of all couples research their vendors on social media. So if you don't have a presence there, a real presence there, it's going to be a problem, okay? There's 2 tasks, well, I should say there's 5 tasks. 2 of them, there's 5 tasks that engaged couples or people do before they get engaged. So the bride doesn't even have the ring yet. You guys know this happens, right? There's 2 of these tasks. One, they create a Pinterest board. We know this. You meet with the bride. She just got her ring last night. She's like, look at all my Pinterest boards. And you're like, okay. So you know they're already on Pinterest. You know that for a fact, right? So before they're even engaged, they're trying to find you. The next one is they follow potential vendors on social media. Now for photographers and venues, if you are either one of those things, I promise you, they are following you before they're engaged. Planners, maybe. DJs, maybe. But for the most part, they're following your photography. They're like, that's amazing. Or they're following the venue. That's amazing. That's where I want to get married. That's who I want to use as my photographer. So before they're even engaged, they're looking for you on social media. Okay, this one is interesting. 81% of parents are involved in the decision making. Right? Do you guys feel that? Like you see the mom and you're like, okay. The mom is here. And you might be thinking, like, why do you even tell us that statistic? Because I've told you why you need to be on Instagram, right? They're finding you on Instagram. I've told you why you need to be on Pinterest. Where do you think the parents hang out? Facebook. Exactly. And there's so many wedding pros that say to me, I don't even need to be on Facebook. No one's on Facebook. Yes, they are. 81% of your clients are on Facebook because they're involved. So if bride comes to you or comes to mom and says, oh my gosh, I found Blush. They're so amazing. I've seen them everywhere. I totally want to work with them. They're really expensive, but I love them anyway. And mom's like, they don't even have a Facebook account. I'm not using them. What on earth, right? Mom has big pools. She's writing the checks or dad's writing the checks. You got to be on Facebook, okay? This one, I hate this statistic because I hate having a blog, but 77% of internet users read blogs. I actually triple checked this statistic because I did not believe it. I was like, no way are that many people reading blogs. But here's the thing. I am an Audible learner, me personally, right? I'm an Audible learner. It's probably why I love podcasts. But I hate watching videos. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Because you're like, get to the point already, right? But in a blog, if I need to figure out how to do something, if I want to figure out how to make a recipe or how to build a wedding budget or what things I should bring for my photographer on wedding day, I can skim it. I can go to the blog, hit the 3 points, get out. I can get the information I need and get out. So a lot of people are reading blogs still because it's an easy way to consume educational information. Blogs, having a blog on your website can increase your traffic by up to 434%. Like, that's amazing, right? Like just hearing that statistic, I'm like, well, let me go set up my blog. Like, what? That's crazy. You need to have a blog. And think about it for a second. It's like, well, yeah, for what other reason would people have to come to your website? What are you driving them to? I mean, really think about that. If you post on social media and you post a pretty picture, what are you trying to get them to do by posting a pretty picture? You're posting a pretty picture because someone told you you have to post pretty pictures to social media. But really, what we want to do is get them from Instagram to our website. And on our website, there's educational information that they can consume and learn and be a more educated couple when they're planning their wedding. So it can increase your traffic by up to 434%. But think about that. Even if it increased your traffic by 100%, which is a quarter of that, what? That would be amazing. I would love to have that much more traffic on my website. And then this one I get in trouble for. I told Jordan this, but I was like, I'm going to get in so much trouble. Blogs increase your traffic, so they're 3 times more effective at converting than traditional media. What's traditional media for us? magazines, The Knot, Wedding Wire, right? Local publications. And there's 62% less in cost. What? And think about that. That's pretty, when you think about it, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. Because I pay The Knot $300 every month and I get one lead, right? Whereas if you could, this is why I get in trouble. I'm not saying not to do it. Advertise where you want to. But when you're advertising with, let's say a publication for print, right? And it publishes twice a year. You only get to change that ad twice a year. It only gets to be fresh twice a year. And I don't know about you guys, but every time they would send me my renewal notice, they'd be like, here's what your ad looked like last time. It's March. You have 100,000 weddings going on right now. Do you want to change anything? You're like, no, it looks fine. Go. And you don't have time to change it. So you don't even refresh the darn thing. So what are we paying for, right? Ay, ay, ay. Okay. So have I convinced you yet? Yes? Okay. Okay. So I'm going to keep going. Okay. So where do you need to post, right? What do we need to post? When do we need to post? Where do I need to post it? Because all this is sounding overwhelming. And I'll tell you guys, it's still so bewildering that I teach this. I'm going to keep saying that because I would sit in these rooms with like Instagram gurus and they talk about the algorithm and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't. It's just so stressful to me. So I want you guys to know, like, I'm going to show you a super easy strategy. I promise we're getting there, okay? But so I've actually pulled this back from what actually Later would say that you need to post. I don't know if any of you guys use Later, but they're really, really good about like putting out educational content. So they say, I pulled this back a little, but you should post 3 times a week on Facebook. Okay, that's not terrible, right? 3 times a day on Pinterest. Right. 5 to 7 times per week on Instagram, plus stories. And I'll tell you, that was actually double that. They said that you should post a whole lot more on Instagram. But this totals 26 to 38 posts per week, which is like, none of us are going to do that, right? We're all like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So let's move on, because what else are we going to do? We're not doing this, right? This is crazy. But this is what they say that you should be doing. Okay. So here's a few more fun facts, right? And then I'll get to the juice, because I want to make sure you guys kind of have all of the information. So blogs need to be at least shared at least 3 times. Here's one of the reasons that we figured out that our blog wasn't successful. When we had one, the reason I was like, I don't even know why we have a blog. Not a soul has read it. No one has read this blog, right? You painstakingly write it. You've got all the pictures. No one's read the blog. Well, we didn't share it. Like, we would share it maybe once, and then no one read it. So we were like, no one likes it. We're not going to keep sharing it. You have to keep sharing it. You have to keep saying the same thing over and over. Okay, this one's meant to make you happy, and it will when I get to the point. But the 6% of followers see your post. So if you have 1,000 followers, only 60 see what you post. Does that make you a little nauseous? And like, hey, Brandee, thanks for telling me I need to post on Instagram, but I'm not going to because you just told me only 60 people see it. What? That's kind of disheartening, but we're going to use that to our advantage, okay? People need to see the same message 7 times to act on it. We all know this part. You know, if you've ever done any kind of a sales training or marketing training or advertising training, you've heard this. This isn't just wedding industry. This is everywhere. People have to see the same message 7 times. That's why McDonald's has arches everywhere, and they've got signs everywhere because they want us to go buy a cheeseburger, which I did on the way here. Okay, buyers consume content in different ways. So I told you guys, I am an Audible learner, right? So if my husband sends me a YouTube video, because he loves YouTube, I will not watch it. And I say to him, I'm not going to watch this, so just give me the cliff notes. I hate watching YouTube videos. I really, really love Audible content. But then I hear people say to me, I don't actually listen to your podcast. I love you, but I don't listen to it because I don't like having people talk in my ear. It annoys me. And I'm like, okay. And then written, right? Like, I don't really love written content, but I like to get educated from written content. So people consume in different ways. Who in here is a YouTube person? Like, who loves YouTube? Anybody go to YouTube for all their stuff? Yeah, see? And I'm like, how? How do you do that? I don't know. I can't do it. Okay, so we're going to use these facts to our advantage because it sounds like, well, you just told us all the reasons we need to be on social media, but now you just told us, like, no one's reading it anyway, so why would I do that? Doesn't make any sense. Okay, so we're going to use this to our advantage, okay? Here's what we're going to do. We are going to create high-quality content, and we're just going to keep saying the same thing over and over and over again. The problem is, and this is where I got stuck, I see so many wedding professionals get stuck, is we see that number of like, I have to post 5 times on Instagram a week. I don't have 5 things to say. I can't create 5 different totally new things to say every week. That's the problem. If only 60 people are seeing each of your posts, why are you making different content every single day? Really what we need to be doing is saying one thing and just keep saying it again and again, over and over and over until they hear it. And that's what the goal is with our social media, okay? So how do we do that? Okay, I'm gonna make this simple. Now, I will tell you guys, I made slides because I said to Jordan, Sunday, I was like, do I really need slides? I like to just talk. And he's like, people like to take pictures. And once I started doing it, I was like, yeah, we're gonna need pictures. So if anybody wants this slide presentation, I'll send it out after so you can have it, because there's a couple like schedules that I show in here. But so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create anchor content. Anybody know what anchor content would be? Like, think of what you would think maybe an anchor content would be. Anybody? Okay, so I didn't know this either. So anchor content is literally just a piece of content that stands out from the crowd, okay? It's gonna help you establish yourself as an expert in your field. That's all it is. So, to give you an example, for me as a coach, if you follow my coaching page, my Instagram, if you see this presentation and then you start watching my Instagram, you'll be like, she is totally doing that. Yes, I do. My anchor content is my podcast. So I do a podcast every single week, and whatever we're talking about on the podcast is what we will talk about for the whole rest of the week. Everything I write and everything I say will be about the podcast, and we'll keep shoving them back to the podcast because that's where I get the most exposure for my business. For Blush and for most wedding professionals, it's going to be your blog. So it'll be, I'm going to write a blog, I'm going to put some time into it because it's a high quality piece of content that helps you stand out from the crowd. It shows you as an expert in your field. If you're a photographer, it's going to be, 5 great poses for your engagement session, or 3 things not to forget on wedding day for your photographer to get great detail shots, whatever you want to tell them about. But you want to be the expert in your field, right? And so you're going to write a blog about that. That's where you're going to put the meat, and then you're just going to keep saying it. So you're going to create the anchor content, okay? So the anchor content is going to be a blog, and I will tell you guys that I encourage wedding professionals to post a blog once a week, which, if you're anything like me a couple years ago, you're like, I'm not doing that, so let's go into the next topic, right? It's really not that difficult. Here's why. I'm going to give you guys some tips, okay? So you're going to create 4 blogs per month, 1 a week, okay? You're going to have an educational blog first, which would be, like I just said, 3 tips, 5 tips, don't make these mistakes, whatever. And then you're going to do a real wedding. You're going to share a real wedding. And some of you might say, I don't have enough real weddings to share. It's only 12 a year. So it's not that bad, I promise. Even if you had COVID last year, you don't have to share a current real wedding. We go back sometimes and if we're trying to make a point, we go back to weddings 3 years ago and we repost them. So it doesn't have to be right now. Another educational post, 5 tips, don't make these mistakes, and then a guest vendor post. These are my favorite because you don't have to write them at all. Like, you don't do anything with it. You just say, well, I'll tell you. Okay, so, okay, I'm gonna get ahead of myself. I told Jordan I would do this too. I'm like, when I make slides, I go off on a tangent, and then I'm like, wait, that wasn't another slide. Okay. So here's some tips. So real weddings, okay? This one's really easy. You don't have to write this one either. When you share a real wedding, the simplest way to do that, we overthink it. We're like, we want to tell them all about the details. No one reads all that. They just want it, really your real weddings, the whole point of posting a real wedding is to show your work, to show how diverse you can be or what kind of work you do. And that's really your pretty. That's what you're wanting people to attach to on Instagram or on Pinterest or whatever. And you're just wanting to get them back to your blog because they loved that pretty image. They loved that you were at a barn. They loved that you were at their venue, whatever. That's what you're trying to get them to attach to. So all they really care about is the pretty pictures, I promise you. Don't overthink what you have to write in a real wedding post, okay? So what we do is we send a questionnaire. It's an automated email that goes out to our clients after our weddings, and it asks all the questions. Where'd you get engaged? How did you meet? How'd you pick your wedding venue? What was your favorite part of your wedding day? Is there anything you wish you did different? All the things, right? And then we take the questionnaire and we copy it and we paste it. And then we add all their pictures from the photographer and we're like, here's a real wedding. And that's all you have to do for a real wedding post. Like, that's literally it. The brides and grooms love that you've taken their words and you've posted about their love story. They're like, this is amazing. They share it with all their friends. There you go. Oh, you tag all the vendors, they're sharing it. It's wonderful. It's so, so simple. So you don't have to overthink real weddings, okay? Genuinely, truly, all anyone cares about is the pictures from real weddings. So that's all you're trying to do, okay, is get the pictures out. Okay, for your guest blog, this one's so fun. We love guest blogs. So an example of one we do for Blush would be, you don't have to do one a month, so pick your 12 vendors, and you're gonna ask them to write a blog about what they do, and you're going to post it on your blog, okay? So you're a wedding vendor. Let's say you're a DJ. You don't know what dress alterations, right? Like dress alterations, I don't know how dress alterations go, but you might have a partner that you want to showcase. And so you call up the Bridal Finery, right? That's one of our salons. And we're like, hey guys, could you share with our clients a little bit more about how dress alterations go? What do they need to think about? How much does it cost when they're shopping for a dress? What do they need to think about alterations then? When do they need to think about it? All the things. They write a blog for us. We tag it back to them. They share it. They put it out on their social media. Now we're spidering back and forth with all the backlinks. And you didn't have to do anything except to literally take their blog and post it on yours. And it's showing partnerships in your field. So you might be thinking like, I'm a DJ. Why would I post about alterations? Because your DJ clients would be reading that and they're like, oh, it's so great that he has partnerships all around, right? And so now you're also feeding a partnership with another vendor, which is great. It's always good for networking. So guest blogs, these are simple. You do 12. I will tell you guys, one of the things that helps us pick a vendor to showcase in a guest blog is if they are on social media. If they have no social media presence, I mean, they're not really going to help you much. And so the partnership might be great, but you're really doing this to get in front of their viewers, and you're putting them in front of yours. So you want to make sure that you're kind of going tit for tat with that. It's not the only requirement we have, but and then educational is Answer the Public. Have any of you guys ever heard of answerthepublic.com? It's so cool. Okay, so answerthepublic.com. It's a website. Go to it on your computer, and you can type in anything that your heart desires, anything about anything in the whole world, and it will tell you. I know you can't read this. It's not intended for you to be able to read, but I did this yesterday because I wanted to just pull like the most current Answer the Public. So you go to Answer the Public, and I typed in wedding. That's all I typed in. I'm going to go over here so you guys can see. Okay, so this is going to tell you what you searched for here, right? You can search for wedding first dance songs, or wedding planning, or wedding dress, whatever. You can type in literally anything. And then it's going to give you this whole circle, and it's going to say how, when, which, can, why, what. I can't read some of these. Who. And it's going to say things like, where do I find a wedding planner? How do I plan a wedding budget? It's going to give you all the top searches in the last 30 days on all search engines. And it's free. It's so cool. So what I do when we're going to write an educational blog is I go to Answer the Public and I type in wedding planning. And it'll tell me all the questions that have been asked the most in the last 30 days, and I just write a blog to answer that question. So if I want to write, if the most searched question, if one of them is like, how do I make a wedding budget? I literally title my wedding blog, How to Write a Wedding Budget, because when they start searching, you're going to come up. And you guys know how to do this. Like the answer somebody had was, I don't know what to write. And it's like, yeah, this tells you what to write. It literally tells you what everyone's searching for. So you're the expert. You already know. So just write it out and write 3 tips. Don't overthink it. Just write an educational blog. Here's how to plan your wedding budget. Top 5 tips. Don't make it like this whole dissertation. Top 5 tips for planning your wedding budget. Find out who's contributing first. Have those conversations, right? Make sure you know that your reception should be less than half the cost of your total wedding budget. Whatever it is, you're going to write a blog about one of these things, and every time you go to write an educational blog, you're going to pull from Answer the Public. It's so, so cool. It's going to help you rank really, really quickly. Okay. So that's how we're going to write blogs. Is anybody freaked out yet? Yeah.
I have a question about that, because I've heard that a blog should be no less than 300 words.
Mm-hmm.
So I go, oh, I don't have time for that.
Uh-huh, yeah.
So is that true?
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so I'm glad you asked that. So you guys have heard this 1,000 times. I did not coin this phrase, but I live by the philosophy, done is better than perfect, right? Have any of you guys ever heard that? Done is better than perfect? As wedding pros, we're like, no, perfect is perfect, and that's what it is, Brandee, so no. Done is better than perfect. However, when you know better, you do better, right? So done is better than perfect. What does that mean? It means if you don't start, you're never going to learn. So the way I teach social media is that instead of getting bogged down with the number of words and the SEO keywords and the algorithm and all the things, you won't start because you're just going to be like, I'm not going to write a blog. I don't have 300 words to say, right? So you don't write 300 words. But remember, our brides are not checking our word count, right? They're not. When you're writing a blog and a blogging expert is teaching you how to write a blog, they're going to teach you the proper way to get all SEO'd out. But we're not trying to get our clients to find us from SEO. That's a bonus. And when you know better, you can do better. But for now, let's get a blog up that teaches our brides so that we can make reels that draw in new audience, and then we create engaging content that makes them get all warm and fuzzy, that makes them want to go to our website to read the blog we wrote for them, and then at the bottom of the blog, you're going to say, schedule a consultation. And they're like, I think I will. And that's it, right? So, and then, like over the last 2.5 years, as I've started kind of like, okay, I'm just going to start putting this into play. Now I have a hashtag strategy. Now I know how many words we're supposed to write on a blog. But before that, I just wasn't doing it because I was like, if I can't do it all the right way, I'm just not going to do it all at all. But once you start understanding it as it's a funnel, it's not a standalone piece. And if you create a blog that the only way you hope people will see it is that it gets picked up on SEO, you're probably not gonna have success with it, right? So what we're trying to do is just create this funnel to get people from here to there, to there, to website, to book a consultation. That's all we're trying to do. So you wanna just write high quality content. And the algorithm, the SEO, the word count will always stop you from writing high quality content. Because what you're going to be focused on is, how can I add 17 more words that make sense in this paragraph? I don't have time for this crap. I'm going to go do my wedding instead, so the blog never gets published. Instead of just publishing a blog that teaches your clients something you're an expert in. And that's all you really have to do. So it's a great question, but I say don't get bogged down by the details. And once you start, then you're going to start to see a piece of it that you're like for me, it was hashtags. I was like, I want to know more about hashtags. Like, I don't understand how they work. I didn't even use them for a year. I was like, I don't know how to use hashtags and I don't understand it, so I'm not going to use them at all. My funnel still worked because I was still getting in front of people. I was still cross-promoting with people. Does it work better now? Sure, because I use hashtags. But if I got bogged down by the hashtag strategy in the beginning, I would have never done it to start, you know? So for me, it's about creating the funnel, not about making sure every single thing is the way it should be, if that makes sense. Does that make sense for you guys? I think that's hard for wedding pros. I think it's really hard for us. Yeah.
I would like your suggestion about asking previous couples,
Yeah.
asking other vendors to write something for us to post on a blog that we don't have to come up with all the
Yeah.
content ourselves. But to circle back to what you said in the beginning, I run into a lot of issues that I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
I don't have the time to write to Brooke what I have to offer. Even though I should, I am dealing with 100,000 weddings and stuff like that. I don't know how to reach out to Brooke and have her say, or make it sound like, hey, I'd love to feature your company. Can you write an expert? I don't know how to make it sound appealing. Like she's going to get a benefit, or our previous couples are going to get a benefit from writing.
Yeah. So your previous couples just want to be featured. I can't even tell you how many couples are like, you never featured us on your blog. I'm like, you didn't return the questionnaire. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. So they're going to want to be featured on your blog. I don't think that part is probably as big an issue, but you're right. We're all busy, right? So to go to a fellow wedding pro and say, hey, can you write a blog for me? They're like, what? I will tell you guys that I, for sure, think this is easier with a VA. I'm not gonna lie. We wear so many hats, right? But one of the reasons that a lot of us don't outsource, or we do, and we pay a bunch of money and they're not even posting anything, that we don't outsource is because we don't have a plan. So if we can take a plan and we can hand it to our VA or our whoever, right? And now we're batching that content. So instead of going to Brooke in March and saying, hey Brooke, can you write a blog for me to publish next week? What if you went to Brooke and said, hey Brooke, I'd love to feature you as one of the 12 vendors we're featuring this year on our blog. We're only picking 12. Would you be interested? Because it's going to give us both great traffic. We're going to publish it. we'll actually zhuzh it up for you. So don't feel overwhelmed by the writing. Like, we want to make it sound like something, that would be good on our blog anyway. But could you write a blog for us and something you're an expert about, something you wish all of your brides knew, and we'll feature it? If so, if you'd be interested, what month feels like the best month that you could be featured? Because we're not doing this by the seat of our pants, which I'm going to show you guys at the end. But we're not doing this by the seat of our pants, which is what a lot of wedding pros do, sorry. But we are planning this in advance. So like, for instance, this June, we will be planning all of our content for the entire rest of the year. Because there's no way come October we could possibly do social media. There's no way. We won't be able to keep up with it. So if you go to Brooke and you say to her in March, hey, I'd love to feature you, what month would work for you? Everybody has different seasons. Like the dress shops don't have the same season as us, right? At all, because their brides shopped back before our wedding season. So they probably could write a blog for you in March, but your DJs are going to be like, don't talk to me till June. Like, I can't. And so you want to pre-batch that. So you pre-batch it in slow season. Like, if you could get 6 vendors that you want to write to feature, and that you could get all their blogs in the summer, you would not even have to think about your blogs again until down season in January, right? Which is so cool. So the whole point is to really think ahead. And when you start thinking about it in a way that's like not 25 posts, but like literally one blog. And if you can write the blog, which I will tell you guys, there are creative VAs that can write amazing blogs, and I'll tell you guys how I do that. But if you can write the blog and then you can have someone else take your blog and break it down into all your pieces, you would never touch your social media. And it would be what you wrote. Like, it would be your words. My podcast is the only thing I write. It's the only thing in my whole platform that I personally write. I do my podcast. I do the guest interview. We do all the things. I type up the notes. And then everything else is done by someone else, because she takes my words, she takes quotes from the podcast, she takes what we said in the podcast, and she turns it into a blog, she turns it into 8 social media posts. Like, someone else can do that. The problem is when you outsource it, and you guys said right here, right? Like, they say things I would never say. And you're like, yeah, because you didn't say them, right? But if you wrote the blog and they were just taking pieces out of it, and they were making all your pieces from that one blog, it is your words. So that's really what the cool part is. But it's about batching. It really is about batching and working with their schedule, if that makes sense. And I really do think of VA when I made that point of like, social media blogs are 62% less cost than like the Knot or Wedding Wire. That's because you still got to pay somebody to help you. There's no possible way you could do all of this yourself. But if instead of paying the Knot $300 a month, you paid a VA $300 a month, don't put that part in. Then you, I'm like, wow. Then you, I promise you the return's going to be higher. I promise you it is. Somebody back here had a question. Hey.
I was just going to respond to her comment about how do you come up with enough content. A really good colleague of mine in photography came up with this brilliant idea, and a lot of us have adopted it. And especially for photographers, videographers, planners who are with a couple all day long.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, as exhausted as you are, take 10 minutes and literally just do like a brain dump into your iPhone as an audio or your own video that you just saved. And as much detail as you can come up with about little things they told you, things you saw, stuff about their grandmother, whatever it was, give yourself little video content of that. And then when it comes time 4 weeks later or whatever it is to do your blog about that wedding, however long it takes you to do that, you have your exact words that you can remember what it was happening in that wedding.
Yep.
And if you use a VA, you can send them that video or audio little file, and they have your words. They actually exactly what it was you remembered on that day. And I know like dress designers and florists who use the exact same theory, and after they meet with the client, they take 5 minutes and they just do themselves a little audio file, and then 6 months later when the wedding happens, they can bring that back up and they can write about their meeting with the client and remember personal details that they otherwise wouldn't remember at all, after all the time passed.
100%, that's exactly right. 100% of all of this is about thinking ahead. And what most of us do, and what I did for years if I posted at all, was I'd like shoot from my hip and I'd be like, that's a cool post, let's put that up. And then you don't have anything for the next week. It's all about, like I reiterate to my social media people all the time, just because we got the album today does not mean the album has to go live today. Like, get the album, wait for the questionnaire. What do we have to talk about it? Let's pull some details out of that wedding. Like, it doesn't have to go up today. We aren't posting our spring weddings until late August because we don't We can't possibly curate them that fast. We can't get through them that fast. So I think that that's brilliant. Another thing that I do is when I'm at a wedding, if I'm not the lead planner, let's just be honest, how many of us have time as lead planner to be like, let me take a note on my phone? You don't, but that's okay. If I'm not the lead planner, but my assistants too, I ask my assistants to do this all the time. I'm like, listen, if you see something that went wrong or that you're like, dang it, why does every bride do this? Why does every bride give me their escort cards in table order when they're going as escort cards out in the cocktail hour? I've told them 1,000 times to put them in alphabetical order, but they don't. And so that's something you could write about. Put it in your phone and be like, alphabetical order. Why? Why do I need an alphabetical order? Tell them why you want it like that and write a blog about it. Literally, that's it. So I have a note in my phone. It's called Topic Ideas. We use it for everything. I use it for blogs, podcasting, social media, whatever. But it's literally just like random thoughts. And so that's a great idea. After you meet with a client, put it into your phone and say like, you know, Susan, whatever, and she did these 3 things. Like, this is really cool about her story. That'll give you something to help with your social media. So, okay, anchor content is done, okay? So we've got the anchor content. Now, all we have to do is break it up. We're not writing new content. No new content, okay? We're just going to break up the anchor content. We're going to make, from every single blog you do, you're going to make 1 carousel post, 1 image or graphic post. So I'll show you that in a second. 1 reel. Who makes reels? Yes. Okay. Everyone else, you're on my radar. Reels. Okay. 1 reel and 8 pins for Pinterest. Every single blog, you're going to create all of those things. Okay. And if you have a VA, you're going to say, here's the blog, go make all these things. And they're going to make them for you and they're going to post them for you. Okay. But if you don't, this is what you're going to make. Okay. Okay. So what's a carousel post? I just want to make sure everybody's clear. I know probably most of you know, but a carousel post is literally a post on Instagram that you have to swipe to see, and there's multiple images. That's it. It's multiple images or multiple graphics. There's a couple reasons you want to make carousel posts, and I cannot tell you how many people don't bother with carousel posts, because you're like, Brandee, you told me I had to post this many times, and now you have 5 slides in 1 post. Like, this is crazy. No, a carousel post is, it's huge for engagement. So when someone slides, that's engagement. It's just like liking or saving or sharing. It's Instagram saying, they're telling Instagram, I like this, I want to know more. So they're sliding, that's it. So when you make a blog, and let's just use, for instance, our photographer, right? Where 3 things you need to bring on wedding day for epic detail photos, right? That's our blog that we wrote. And so now all you're going to do is you're going to write the title of your blog on slide 1, and then the first thing you told them to bring on slide 2, the second thing you told them to bring on that one, the third thing, and then you're going to make a last post that tells them what to do. Go to my blog to read more. Save this post. Send it to an engaged friend. Double tap if this was helpful. You have to tell them what to do. If you don't, they're like, ooh, that was fun, and they keep going. You want to tell them what to do, right? So if you want to send them back to your blog, which is what you want them to do from this, you're going to say, click the link in my bio to read more. And then you got them to your website. Now it's your website's job to keep it going, okay? But it's a different topic. So that's what you're going to do. So carousel post. Also, one other cool thing about a carousel post is that if someone does not engage with this first image, okay? So they're scrolling Instagram. We've all done it, right? You scroll Instagram. You're like, that didn't catch my eye. I didn't stop. The next time they log into Instagram, they close out, they come back in, this is going to be what they see. Same exact thing, but they're going to see that image, and that one might catch their eye. And the third time they log in, they're going to see that one. And Instagram's going to keep going until they engage with your post or until they're done with slides, which is really, really cool. So it's a great way to get more engagement. Carousel post, don't skip carousel posts, okay? So when you publish your blog, you're going to make a carousel post. A single image or a single graphic, this is pretty self-explanatory, but just in case. So we were talking about detail photos, so I pulled a detail photo from one of our recent weddings. Any detail photo will do. And my image that's going to go on my single image post is going to be, here's a detail photo. It's going to stop some people because they're going to be like, that's pretty. And then in my caption, I'm going to tell them 3 mistakes people make to not get epic detail photos, whatever you want to say. That's probably a terrible caption. But you're going to say something about what you wrote in your blog, and then you're going to say, visit our blog to get pictures like this, to know how to get pictures like this, right? And then you send them to their blog again. Or if you want to make a graphic post, you can make a static graphic post. So like a reason I would use a graphic post would be if I was a DJ and my blog was about the top 10 first dance songs of 2021. I mean, you could use a dance picture if you wanted to, but dancing pictures are usually dark and they're not great for your feed, right? So if you made a graphic post and you listed out the top 10 songs and then it said go to our blog to read more, same thing, you're just getting them to go to your blog, okay? So that's kind of what you're doing with those. Okay, so those are the kind of posts you're going to make from every blog. You're going to make one carousel post, one graphic or image post, depending on what your blog was about, one reel, which I'll talk about in a second, and 8 pins. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. And here's how you're going to post it. Okay, so these are all of your anchor content. Okay, so, and when I tell you guys, this is so easy for a VA to do. I cannot even tell you. You're going to write the schedule for them. You're going to tell them what to do. You're going to have templates built in Canva. They already are going to be able to just go, and we don't make new graphics for every post. We literally have, these are our carousel post templates. These are our love quote templates, all in Canva. So our VA can just go in and do it. Okay, so this is a sample. You can edit how you wish. But on Tuesday, let's say your blog goes live on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, you publish your blog to your website, right? That's this one. And then on Instagram, you're going to post your carousel post that morning. So you're going to post your carousel post, go read our blog, go read our blog. And then you're just going to repost it to Facebook. Facebook gets no love, okay? I'm just going to, all Facebook's line's going to say is repost to Facebook. But you can just, it auto-publishes, right? You just make it go to Facebook. The only thing you do want to do for Facebook, this is very important, is go let it auto-publish to Facebook and then go over to your Facebook and edit the line that says click the link in my bio. Take that out and add the actual link to your blog, because Facebook, there's no link in bio, right? So you don't want people to think you're lazy, and they will. So that's what, and it's not going to give you any traffic because they're not going to go to your Instagram to click the link. So that's what you're going to do. Facebook, you're just going to repost. And then on Pinterest, you're going to do 3 graphic pins, okay? So you're going to do those graphic pins that I showed you guys. You're going to have a sample template. Here's the cool thing about Pinterest. I told you guys in the beginning, when it says to pin 3 times a day, here's the really cool thing about Pinterest. They consider even one change to a pin a fresh pin. So my staff pins 10 times a day. And the way that we do that is because we have one pin that we pin, right? This is our main pin. And then we change the font, then we change the image, then we change the color, then we change whatever. We keep changing. We change the headline, we change the footer. And we just change it all the way down, click, pin to Pinterest. Pinterest thinks that's fresh pins. And so you write the same description on all of them, but you never know what's going to connect with somebody. Somebody might not like my blue, but they like my pink, right? Or they might not like the picture of the bride, but they love the groom's tuxedo. Whatever, it's going to get them to go. So that's all you have to do. So when you hear me say post 3 times to Pinterest a day, you're not creating fresh pins. You make a template, you just change it, and you go. Again, a VA would be helpful. Then on Thursday, so that's what you're going to post on Tuesday, okay? On Thursday, you're going to take that same blog, and you're going to say, okay, I made a carousel post about that blog. What's our blog? Does anybody remember? What's our blog topic? 3 must-have items for epic detail photos, right? So that's our blog. We wrote that blog. We posted about it on Tuesday in all these places. On Thursday, I'm going to post that detail photo shot that I showed you guys. That's it. I'm going to post the detail photo shot, and I'm going to say, want epic photos like this? Don't forget these 3 things for your photographer. Go read our blog to learn more. That's it. That's all I'm going to post. And then I'm going to repost that same image to Facebook, and then I'm going to pick 3 detail photos from any weddings that I've ever done, or from the same wedding, and I'm going to put them up on Pinterest with the same description. That's all you're doing. And then on Friday, you're going to make a reel. You have to make reels, okay? Here's why you need to make reels. One, really, the only reason you need to make reels is because it's the only way that Instagram shows your content to new people without someone saving or sharing it, without someone telling it to go, right? So when you post on stories, when you post on a carousel post, when you post a graphic post, you spend all these hours and all this money on people, right, that aren't even posting the right thing. But then no new followers are coming because they don't know how to find you. So Reels is the way to do that. Reels are it is completely algorithm-less currently. No one knows, it's renegade, no one knows how that algorithm works, but lots of people come watch them. And so what happens is, it gets shown to anyone that could possibly want to see that video. So you grab your phone and you make a reel and you say, hey, are you engaged? Here's 3 things you don't want to forget on wedding day so that you get epic detail photos. Don't forget your invitation suite. Make sure that you've got your RSVP card and your details card. Don't forget your vow books. If you wrote personalized vows, make sure that you put the vow books. Make sure you bring your perfume and a few extra blooms. Ask your florist for a few extra blooms that your photographer can use on wedding day. Go head over to our blog to learn more. And you put the link in the caption, period. That, if anybody that's engaged is going to see that and go, that's cool. Like, I didn't even think about that. I didn't know I had to have a whole extra invitation to give to my photographer. How else would they photograph the invitation? I don't know. You know that's true, right? They show up all the time. They're like, can you photograph my invitation? Where is it? At home. So you're like, So this is educational content. You're pulling people in. So now our funnel's working, right? We've got educational content. We're not recreating. We're not creating new content. We're just saying it in a video. We're taking them. We're pulling them into our platform. We've got all this stuff for them to chew and snack on, right? They keep seeing the same thing. And then they're like, gosh, I love this. This is so good. This person knows what they're talking about. I'm going to go to their website. And then they go to your website and they're like, they have such great work. I love their work. It's so amazing. They might not read your blog, but at the bottom of the blog, it's going to say book a consultation with us. And they're like, I do want to book a consultation with them. They are everywhere. They're showing up everywhere. And then after you make the reel, you're going to repost it to Pinterest. And first of all, video pins on Pinterest are like little firestorms. Everyone wants to watch videos on Pinterest. It's new, it's hot, and your reels could go right over there. And here's how you post a reel to Pinterest. All you do is hit the 3 buttons at the top of your reel after you post it. That's it. And there'll be an option that says share to, and you click that, and then you hit Pinterest, and it goes to your Pinterest account. And then that's it. It goes to your Pinterest account. And now you just shared a video pin to Pinterest by hitting 3 buttons. And you're getting wildfire on Pinterest and wildfire on Instagram, and all of it's sending it back to your blog. So that's what you're going to do with your anchor content, okay? So if you wanted to stop here, I'm almost done, I promise. You guys are like, you're hurting my head. If you wanted to stop here, this is enough content, okay? You guys, like, especially if you're not posting at all right now, or you're like shooting from the hip and you're just kind of like posting whatever feels good that day, this is enough content. This is your funnel. That's what you're doing. You're just building a funnel. That's it. So this is your funnel. If you wanted to stop here, you can take a picture of this slide. You can be like, that's my jam. I'm going to stop there, right? Done is better than perfect. You can know better, and then you can do better. Okay, so what am I going to do if I want to get up to where the gurus say that I should be posting 5 flipping times, 6 flipping times on Instagram? What if I want to do that? Because now I'm like, hey, Brandee, I just realized I posted this many times, and I didn't even do anything but write a blog. Yes, you did. So now you have time to have your VA do more. Okay, so if you want to post more, everything in black is extra, okay? It's extra credit. So on Mondays, I make a reel just simply to entertain people, literally for no other reason. It's entertaining. It's something like, oh, what is the one I posted right before I got in the car? Okay, I was in the parking lot posting this one. So I made fun of unplugged ceremonies and guests that don't listen to the flipping sign, right? And so I made a reel that was like, don't be this guest. And then I was like holding up this giant iPad that my husband has, and I was like, yeah, I'm listening to you. What are you saying? And it's literally just for fun. Like, there's no educational value to it at all, except like brides are like, dude, yes, and photographers, and everyone knows that's a hot button, right? So I'm going to make a reel on Mondays literally to entertain people. That's it. And to make my brand more human. Remember that people only buy from people they like, know, trust, right? So you have to create a human side of who you are. And reels are really easy to do that. I hate getting on stories. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Because every single story starts with, hey guys, right? Every story. And I don't know how not to do it. I don't know how not to do it. I try. I stop like 11 times and I'm like, oh, I don't know how to start a story. I hate them. But I love reels, and it's a really easy way for people to get to know me. They know I'm obsessed with McDonald's now, right? They know I have small children. They know that I don't know what else I do on reels, but all kinds of stuff. So the entertaining reel is really just there to help humanize your brand. You're going to repost it to Pinterest, okay? On Wednesday, this one's super easy. You're just going to write a love quote, like anything. It can be a quote about love, it can be a quote about marriage, it can be a quote about best friends, right? But you always want to have a call to action. So on a love quote, or let's say a quote about best friends, you could make one of your templates, right, that has a quote on it, and you just post it on Wednesday, and then in your caption you say, tag tag your ride or die in this post because it's a quote about best friends, right? So now you've got more people coming to your platform, right? So tag your ride or die. And most of your brides have friends that are also engaged, right? So that's helpful. So all you're gonna do is make a quote post, super easy. I Google love quotes or best friend quotes. I literally copy it, put the author, because it's not yours, please put the author, or author unknown, and then repost to Facebook and then repost it to Pinterest with 3 different colors behind it. That's it, that's all you're doing, okay? And then the last one is just on Saturdays, always show up on stories on Saturdays, no matter what. If you're off, show yourself floating in the pool, not in a bathing suit. I mean, maybe just your feet, but people are gonna be like, Brandee told me to post in a bikini. I post something on Saturdays. So if I am off, then I can say, relaxing and gearing up for next weekend's epic wedding at the Four Seasons, but today, feet in the sand or whatever. And you might post 3 things, whatever. If you're at your floral shop and you're making centerpieces, or you've got stuff loading in a truck, or you're trying to get ready for wedding day, show them that. That's what they want to see. Brides are on Instagram on Saturdays and they're watching stories. So make sure that you're posting on stories. A lot of times too, I'll just grab different vendors at the event and I'll be like, cheese, and selfies. And then I'm like, cheese, and I'm like, love our vendor partners. There you go. It's super simple. So you're gonna show up on stories on Saturday, and I don't post on Sundays, ever. I don't want to answer questions on Sundays. I don't wanna have to engage on Sundays. You can, I'm not telling you not to. For me, I don't want to. So I don't, my rule of thumb is, if you ask people to engage with you, you should be ready to engage back with them. So if I post on Sunday, it's kind of rude to be like, here's a post, now I'll see you tomorrow. That's just rude. So to me, I think you should be engaging when you're asking people to engage with you, so I don't post on Sundays. That's it. That's kind of how you're coming up with all this content. I will tell you guys, the way that I think that this can work, because I know that you're like, girl, I don't know if all this is gonna happen, right? It's a lot. And so what we look at doing is we are always at least 6 weeks ahead at a minimum. And like I said, this fall, we will have our whole fall planned out. Does that mean that every single image is in? No. But here's some of the tricks that you can do. You're gonna create a spreadsheet, right? And it might look something like this, to be honest. It might look something like this. And you're gonna have your blog topic, and you're gonna list out all the things you have to create from that blog. So you're gonna have your blog topic. If you know it's educational posts, those you can probably plan out a couple months ahead of time. Think about all the weird things that happen at weddings you wish people knew, or things you're an expert in, or trends that are happening, or whatever. Literally just get the topic listed out. Just get the topics listed out. Think about the partners you want to partner with. Think about the real weddings you want to post. The way that we post our real weddings is, let's be honest, we know which photographers are, one, going to give us images. That's a huge one. A lot of our photographers aren't even going to give us the images anyway, which is frustrating. We also know which photographers go best with our aesthetic. So when we're planning weddings that are going to get published in August, September, October, we're looking at March, April, May. And we're looking at our calendar and we're like, which weddings had these 5 photographers? And if we have enough weddings to fill with those 5 photographers who are great to us, they always get us images, the images match our aesthetic, we're just gonna use those. And we fill them in. And so we start saying, okay, it's literally May. We still don't have images back from April, but by August we will. So literally all I'm putting in that box for August 17th, real wedding, is Joan Smith wedding, Kristen Weaver photography. That's all I have to put there. I don't have to have the images back yet. I don't have to have the questionnaire back yet. I just have to know that my VA needs to know that by August 17th, all that needs to be in, and that's the wedding we're publishing. That's it. So does that make sense? You're planning ahead instead of trying to be like, well, I still don't have the images back from that photographer. It's been 3 weeks and I don't have a wedding to go up now. And you're like, well, what photographer is getting you images in 3 weeks? I mean, some might, I don't know. But it's not in wedding season, right? And so you can't count on that. So you really want to always be batching out. And then 2, one of the things that I do with my VA is that I voice memo. So like she said in the back, right? I voice memo to her. So I hate writing. I hate reading blogs. So I will voice memo to her and I'll say, here's the topic we're going to write about. 5 ways to save money on your budget. And I literally talk into my phone and I say, I want brides to know 5 ways to save money on your budget. Here's the 5 tips. And here's the thing that they always get tripped up on. And then she writes the blog. And then she does all the rest of the things with it. So I can walk around my house with an AirPod in, and I can be like making dinner and be like, okay, you know this stuff like the back of your hand. You know it. So you can just be like, yeah, 5 things that people get tripped up on all the time. Here's the things. And then they write the copy. So it is worth it to pay a VA that is a creative VA. There's such a thing. And they will write all of this for you with your expert thoughts. Yeah. Yeah. So I think you should only hire specialized VAs. Like if you hire a VA that's like, I can do all the things. No, they can't. We can't do all the things, right? Like I am not great at like beach weddings. I hate them. So I don't want to take beach weddings, right? So so that we know that. So you want to hire specialized VA. So a creative VA, for instance, is someone that's gifted at social media graphics, usually hashtag strategy, and copy. So they're great at writing conversion copy, so like copy that's going to have a call to action on the bottom of it, and they're great at educational copy. That's called a creative VA. An administrative VA would be somebody that would be helping you with like blocking your calendar, answering emails, whatever, writing timelines for you. They're 2 totally different sides of your brain. So to me, I kind of like to have control over my administrative tasks. So I don't want to give those up. And that's client facing. If they write an Instagram post that I'm like, I really didn't like that Instagram post. It's as simple as taking it down and rewriting it and telling them what you didn't like about it, versus they screw up something with a client and you're like, okay, So I like creative VAs. And to be honest, you guys, it takes so much off your plate. It takes so much off your plate. Now you're getting leads coming in and all you have to do is engage. So I teach all the time, show up in your Instagram, your Pinterest, your Facebook twice a day. Literally, as soon as you wake up or whatever time works for you after you've had coffee, answer some questions, engage on your things, and then do it once again at night or in the evening. And then don't do it again. Like you're posting, you don't have to answer as soon as a post comes in or a comment comes in. So that's what I would look for as a creative VA. And I actually have an agency that I work with that I tell a lot of my students about. So I'm happy to give you that information if you want to. They're amazing. I didn't even know that thing existed, but I love it. It's amazing.
What is the average price of your VA?
Yeah, so for a VA you would trust to write something that anyone would ever see, I would say I budget $25 an hour. You can get somebody for $15. That's probably excellent. The going rate's $15 to $25. If you pay more than that, they're going to start their own business anyway, so don't bother. They're not going to be with you long.
How do you charge per hour?
Yeah, so they'll most of them will put you on a retainer. So they'll say my contract is for 9 hours. What you want me to do will take me about 9 hours a week, and so your monthly retainer is going to be based on $25 an hour at 9 hours a week. And then I do a check-in after 3 months, and I'll say, are you using more or less of my hours? Can I give you more things to write? We had our VA take over my show notes for my podcast, because she was like, this is so simple. I'm getting this done really fast. And I'm like, sweet, here's some more things to write for me, So you can do a check-in and see, but it's $15 to $25 per hour. You can source VAs from the Philippines. It's super looked down upon. A lot of people do it, but that's up to you. But I would say if you're looking for somebody, in the U.S., about $15 to $25 an hour. And which really, if you guys think about it, even if you paid them, it's $1,000 a month if you're paying them 10 hours a week, which is high. I'm not saying that's not high. But I do think, I was paying $750 a month for my social media when it was crap. And I was like, this isn't even, I hate this social media. It's not even good. So there's that. And really, they're going to get things done a lot faster than you. They just are. So what would take us 10 hours to write social media for a month will probably take them 3, because they know how to do it. And they're going to systematize it for you. They're going to do this. They're going to make your templates. They're going to make it so that it's plug and play, So it would take them a lot less time. So you could probably get somebody to do it for 10 hours a month, I'd say. They could accomplish this.
And there's no way I can afford $1,000.
No, $1,000 a month is huge. So if you're paying them 10 hours a week, yes. But I think somebody could do it in 10 hours a month, which is about $250 a month. And I know not everybody can afford that. You guys, I've been there. I have been there. My husband still yells at me. He's like, stop outsourcing stuff. But I think that if you think about it in a way that's if I paid somebody $250 a month, if I could figure out how to do that, maybe not in summer, but if I could figure out how to do that, how many more clients would I have to book to pay them? Most of us charge more than $250, right? So if you had to book one more client per quarter to cover their fee, could you? If they created a funnel for you? I bet you could. So that's where you have to take a step of faith. And I talk about this all the time. Michelle and I've talked about it a million times. I'm like, you have to hire before you're ready, because it's like the chicken before the egg. If you're like, I want a funnel, but I can't pay for a funnel. Well, no kidding, because you don't have a funnel. So you gotta step out in faith a little bit and say, I'm gonna give it 3 months, and if it doesn't work, then it didn't work. But I think most of the time it will. It'll create a funnel. You'll see the traffic. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Jordan said that I could send an email out after this. So I'll email you guys, and I'll email this slide deck too, just because I know this schedule is kind of helpful. And then also the agency that we use. Yeah, she's incredible. So good at creative. Anybody else? Yeah.
What about those social media sites that help you arrange
Post.
timing and everything?
Yeah. So your VA would do that.
There was a couple of ones that I used to work with, but I never stuck with them.
Yeah.
Are they any good or not?
I mean, we use Later exclusively. I love Later. Planoly is a great one. I think Later is probably the best. Tailwind, actually, I shouldn't say that. Tailwind now, so Tailwind was designed for Pinterest, but it also does Instagram now. And so then you've got 2 in one bucket, and your Instagram auto-publishes to Facebook, so you could just use Tailwind. And so there's actually a discount code on my website for Tailwind. If you want to go to my website, brandeegaar.com, there's a discount for Tailwind because we're a partner with them, and they're really great. I don't know how you do it otherwise, honestly. Everything, because my goal is to show you how to batch it. So if you're posting a month out and everything's done, if your goal is get like topics done by 4 months out and get content written by 60 days out and have all the graphics done by 30 days out, then your VA or you or an intern, anyone can do this, load it all into Later for you, or load it all into Tailwind. So now you've got it all in your spreadsheet, and they're loading it, so you don't have to do that, because that's time consuming. But they're loading it so that all your posts go live at, like mine go live at 9 o'clock. I know that. So from 9 to 9:30, my calendar's blocked to engage with people who engage with my stuff, and then I don't engage again until later that afternoon, usually, unless I'm driving or something else. Yeah, okay, so this is what the schedule just looks like as a whole, so you guys can just see, you're basically writing 1 blog every week. You're on Instagram 5 times a week, plus your 6 stories, because every single thing you post in your feed, you're going to push to stories. On Facebook, you're posting 3 times a week plus 4 stories, because your Instagram will automatically publish to Facebook stories, except for Reels. Reels will not post to Facebook. And on Pinterest, you're posting 11 times. So really, if you add that all up, you're over 30 posts a week, which is crazy because you're really only writing one thing, right? So that's really what the goal is to kind of help you guys do that. So this is me. I hope that you guys will find me on Instagram, and you can see it. Like, you can see it on our Instagram. You can see that, like, whatever I publish on Tuesday's podcast is also going to be everything else I talk about all week long. So you can see that there. Social 365 is what I just taught here. So it's basically what I just taught, except it's already done for you. So all the blogs, all the posts, everything, you get a calendar and you stick in the date you start, and it goes 365 days from there, and you hand that to your VA and they do it for you. So you can do that at learnbrandeegaar.com. Reels, I teach on Reels. I love Reels. I love Reels. They're so great. So the Reel Traffic Toolkit, or I do coaching as well. So whatever you guys are interested in, my passion is honestly teaching you how to do it easily, because I got stuck for so long, just way too long. And so there's no reason to get stuck. Just start doing it. And then as you know better, you do better. Every single step, you'll do it better a little bit each time. So any other questions you guys have? I'm going to stick around. So it is hot in here. Hi. Yeah.
I wondered why your posting content on Instagram and Facebook is different, because we actually have our Instagram site, you just push the content directly to Facebook with
Yeah.
the post.
Yeah.
And then update, obviously, if there's anything different with the caption to be different or something
Yeah.
like that, or fix the tags.
Yeah, it's not
Is there a
different.
reason why not to do that?
It's not different. It just said repost to Facebook.
Well, I thought you said like Instagram's 5 times a week, Facebook's 3 times a week.
Because you're posting Reels 2 of the days, and Reels won't post to Facebook.
Okay, so that's just the distinguisher you're
Yeah, so when you post a reel, you want to add it to your feed because it will count as a feed post, and most people actually watch reels in feed. So you're going to want to, but your reels can't go over. So that's why. And exactly what you do. We have it auto-publish, and then we fix the last line really quickly. Yeah. Anybody else? That was a good question. Yeah?
How long should the reel be? Is there a certain
Yeah.
window? Because attention span, people.
Yeah, 3 seconds. Yeah. No, it shouldn't be 3 seconds, but you only have 3 seconds to capture them.
That's it.
Reels can only be 15 seconds or 30 seconds. I highly recommend 15-second reels. You'll be shocked at the things you can say in 15 seconds. It's amazing. And it's fast. You're like, whoa, that's over. Here's a fun tip. For anybody that's like, I'm not doing reels, Brandee, stop telling me to do reels. Okay, try it. Here's a really easy tip because people are always like, I don't know what to make a reel about. Go into reels tonight. Go into the Reel Explore page, there's a whole page just for reels, and scroll. And if you see a reel that catches your attention, either because you liked what it said or you liked the audio clip. Most of the time I just like the audio clip. It's like Kardashians or The Office. Those are my favorite. I love them. Those are my favorite. So I save it. You just click the save button at the bottom. That's it. It's going to go into a saved folder, right? So when you go into your profile, you'll see all your saved folder. And then all you're going to do is remake that reel in your own niche. That's it. So, for instance, one I did a long time ago, I saw a realtor, and she was screaming into her phone. She was like, "What was that reason? What was that reason?" And she's screaming into her phone, and the little text box at the bottom said, "When my client drives up in a brand new BMW at closing," and you're like, you know you can't do that, right? Like everyone knows. So you can say that in 15 seconds, and everybody's like, "Oh, yeah, I know you shouldn't do that," but she's educating. So I was like, what are irritating things that our brides do, right? Like, and so I'll be like, so I did the exact same thing. I literally grabbed a phone and I was like, what was that reason? And my caption was, when a bride tells you she's going to use a Craigslist vendor instead of you. Right? That's the reaction, right? And it got like some ridiculous amount of views and likes and comments because everybody is like, damn it, yes, right? It's so irritating. And so you want brides to know, like, no, you should book a professional. Don't book a Craigslist vendor. So you're literally remaking the same thing. So if you see a reel that you like and you're like, oh, that's cute, I could do that. You don't even have to do anything. You literally are just talking into a phone like this. You don't even have to really show your face. And you just put the text as something that people would resonate with in your market. And that's not copying. That's the point of reels. That's what makes them go viral. So the person who originally makes the sound bite gets credit, and when you see it, it'll say original sound. And then everyone else that copies it just gives them clout. So that's what they want you to do, is create the same thing but for your own market. And so that's what you're doing. So that's how I never run out of reels ideas, is because I have like 600 saved into my phone, and I constantly see these and I'm like, yes, I could make that. Brides do that. That's so irritating. And so you can make those. That's really easy. Yeah?
You ever mentioned TikTok or LinkedIn? Do you not think they're useful?
No, I don't. At all. I really went all in on LinkedIn for a whole year. I mean, like hard, and I hated it. I got spammed to death. To death. I will say, I actually had a LinkedIn expert on my podcast a couple months ago, and she said, if you don't find it useful for getting clients, which I don't know how many brides are shopping for their wedding people on LinkedIn, but maybe, I don't know. I'm a big fan of like, whatever's moving your needle. Don't do anything that's not moving your needle, right? So if Pinterest doesn't move your needle, don't do it. But whatever's moving your needle, these 3 platforms are gonna move your needle. But on LinkedIn, what she said is if someone Googles your name, okay, this was huge, I didn't think about this. The name of my company is Blush by Brandee Gaar. So if somebody Googles my name, the first thing that will come up is LinkedIn. I don't know why, she told me, I forget, but LinkedIn will come up first when someone Googles your name. So if the name of your company is one of the photographers, hi, you're in here, Sarah, right? Samantha Brown. Samantha Brown Photography, right? So if they Google Samantha Brown, her LinkedIn profile is going to come up first. If she doesn't have one, or it's crappy, or it's not updated and it still says she worked as like the pool server at the Hilton, that's a problem, right? So she said, take 1 hour, correct your LinkedIn profile, have one, don't post on it. Like, just have it. So if people see you, you've got your website on there, you say what you do, your correct company name, an updated headshot, that's it. And then go do something else. A lot of people do find business on LinkedIn. Our industry isn't one of them. So, but if someone searches you by your name, and a lot of us use our name, then, or if they see you at a networking event and they're like, I don't remember what her company name was, but I remember her name, they search you, LinkedIn will come up first. You don't want it to be trash. So that's LinkedIn. And TikTok, Okay, here's what I say about TikTok. I personally hate TikTok. The reason I became so enthralled with Reels is because last summer, before Reels came out, they came out in September, in June, I did a challenge with a huge group of people, and I said, we're going to post, everyone has to make a goal, okay? Everyone had a different goal. My goal was to post 3 times a week to TikTok for a whole month, and to say, like, if I do this, people will come. They didn't come. No one came. It was so annoying. Like, you're trying to build a whole new platform, and to me, I was like, I don't have time for this. Like, I already have a platform on Instagram. I know my clients are on Instagram. No one can tell us our brides and grooms aren't on Instagram. They are. On TikTok, they're like, we think they are. We think they are. But we really kind of think they might be there just for fun, right? They might not be shopping. We don't know yet. We're still trying to figure it out. So when Reels came, so I stopped. So when Reels came out, I was like, wait a second. So I know my clients are on Instagram for a fact, and I know they love consuming, entertaining, and educational over on TikTok. So if I can mix the two and I can use my same platform, and here on Instagram, I can give them other things to chew on, and I can get them to go to my website, why wouldn't I just do it on Instagram? So I do it all on Instagram. I think TikTok is a complete waste of time, but I will tell you, if you go to my TikTok, you'll see TikToks there because I download them from Instagram. I post a reel, and then I take that same reel, I screen record it into my phone or save it to camera roll, and I upload it to TikTok. For literally the only fact is for when people ask me that question. I can be like, it does nothing. You can see. Yeah.
For your reels, are you able to like go in and pick your own audio? Because mine won't let me, like my music selection is non-existent. I have to find like an original audio in order to do it.
Yes, so that's actually the workaround to that, which is how I started doing it that way. Then I realized this is way easier than having to go find music. So when you see someone else's reel and you want to use their music, just click the audio track that's running under their name, even if it's not original. You can click the audio track and you click it, and then it'll say, do you want to use this audio? The only time it won't give you that option is if it's copyrighted music. There's also a workaround to that. Okay, if you have a business account, right, it doesn't want you to get licensing infringement. So Taylor Swift, you'll never be able to use Taylor Swift on your business account. They're going to block it every time, but it won't even let you. So that's okay. But it won't even give you the option. But like Eminem, so that should be copyrighted, but it lets you use it. So if you use someone else, if you see like my sound and you like it, I have an Eminem song on mine, then you can click the music under my name and it'll say, do you want to use this audio? And you click use this audio and then you just make the reel to that. Yeah. But you can't go find it.
Yeah, and that's how I've been doing it. It's just a lot of work. But on the other hand, I know some people that use TikTok to create the stuff and post it on Instagram.
Yep.
And that way they're able to, they're using like normal music for that.
I do that when I want to use a song that Instagram won't let me, like a Taylor Swift song. So, but the reason it's faster to go from Instagram to TikTok is because TikTok doesn't care yet if the Instagram watermark is there. But Instagram cares if the TikTok watermark is there. So you can't download, which we used to do for a long time. Now they'll block your content. So you can see it if they already follow you, but then that's not really the purpose of a reel, right? They won't show you in the Explore page. So the workaround to that is you post your TikTok, you screen record your phone, right? Pull down, exactly. Screen record the whole thing, crop it, crop out all the TikTok crap. You can tell how often I do this, right? I hate it. It's so annoying. But every once in a while, you're like, but I really want to be 22, and I want to use that Taylor Swift song. So you use it. Anyway, so you can do that. And then there's an app called, are you going to tell me what it is? Because I think that...
Screen record your TikTok before you post it. It won't have watermarks on it.
Yes.
It will have the audio, so you won't have to do all the cropping.
I think they've changed that.
It's fun. I did it like last week.
I don't know. Try it, because someone told me they changed that, and I was like, dude, I cannot keep up with this anymore.
But InShot is the really good app for TikTok.
InShot is huge. Yeah, so I will tell you guys, I don't teach using InShot. I don't think anyone has time for that. And I think it's amazing, and when I want to make a really advanced reel, I do use InShot, but if I'm being honest, how many of us have 45, 50, 60 minutes to make a reel? We don't. And so I literally show you how to make reels that are one setting, like ha, 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 and then you put a cute caption and you move on. So there's InShot, screen recording before you post from TikTok to Instagram. That's another option, absolutely. So there's lots of ways to get around it. But yeah, so. Anybody else have questions? I know there's so many platforms, right? I will tell you, just in general, my message is going to be, this is the way I teach it, and there's 1,000 ways that you can learn this. Done is better than perfect. I'm a volleyball mom. I spend like 25 hours a weekend in the gym with my girls on volleyball tournaments, right? I can't hit a ball to save my life because I'm watching other people do it. If you don't get in the game, you cannot learn how to be better at it. So get in the game and start doing something. Even if it's wrong, just do it. And then when you know better, you'll do it better, right? If I got in the game and I really wanted to play volleyball that bad, I could get in and I'd suck for a really long time, and then I would start to learn one thing at a time. I'm gonna practice serving first. I'm gonna practice drills, right? You have to get in the game. So as long as you stay outside the game and you're watching other people win at social media, you're not going to learn it. So get in, start, do something, and then each time you start to learn something new, like I can publish from TikTok to Instagram, and that would be awesome. I can use this audio, or I know I have to post 300 words. Yes, start implementing that into your thing, but not until you've got some sort of a system in place. Does that help? Yay. All right. Well, if you guys have any questions, I'm sticking around. Make sure you grab another drink and hang out. Thanks, guys. I don't know what I did with my phone.